Good morning, children. Welcome to our social science class today. And today we will continue the previous chapter, that is chapter 4, Media and Democracy in Civic subject. Okay, children. And in the previous turn, we had revised about what is media. And media is broadly classified into two types. First is print media and second is electronic media. Print media, the examples are newspapers, magazines, journals, books, etc. And all print media. And electronic media, we have television, radios, and internet, mobile phones. Clear, children? Now, today we will be reading in detail about relationship between government and information. Understood? What is the relationship between the government and information? So, children, please pay attention. I'll be sharing the screen with you all and you all please follow up. So here we are with the topic government and information. Our constitution has established a democratic republic. Okay, it's a form of a government. Democracy requires that citizens should have full information about what public authorities have done. Clear, children? We must have full information. People of the country, we citizens. Why? Because we are paying taxes, all of us. Okay. And that tax money is used for us only for our welfare work, for our welfare work, whatever it is required for the construction of the roads, construction of the bridges, electricity, and in the interior part of the country, in the village areas, electricity and concrete roads, public well, water, sanitation, so many things are there which the authorities have to see. Public authorities have to work for us, for the welfare of the people. So here it is that all the citizens of the country, all of us should have full information about what public authorities have done for us. This makes the government accountable to the people. How it is? This makes the government accountable to the people. Means government have to answer. They have to answer that how they have used that money for the public welfare facility. Now, regarding this, we have a Right to Information Act. Okay, children. Now, this act is very, very important. How is it important? This act was enacted in 2005. The Right to Information Act was enacted in 2005. Okay. Every public authority is required to maintain its records, notings, documents, orders, and circulars. The Act requires the setting up of a Central Information Commission, as well as at State Information Commission. Means at the center level, Central Information Commission, and at the state level, State Information Commission. What does these commissions are? For every public authority will name one of its officers as Public Information Officer. So these are the commissions where public authority will name one of its officers as public information officer. And what happens then further? Any person who desires to obtain any information shall make a request in writing to the concerned officer. Whichever department, whatever information you require, we can ask for, and this has to be done in this procedure. We have to make a request in writing to the concerned officer. He may be required to pay such fee as has been prescribed for the same. Okay, children. The concerned officer is required to provide the information within 30 days of the receipt of the request. Okay, children. For example, we can say about the money matters, about the funds allocated for the public welfare works, etc. They have to answer. They have to give the information. But there is a condition here. No information would be given about a matter that affects the security or other vital interest of the state. Means where the security of the country, security of the state is concerned, these types of information will be not given. Why? Because for the safety of the country, for the security of the country means for the security of the people of the country. Like for example, the Defense Department regarding the Army, Navy and Air Force, these departments where security is concerned about the country, the information will not be given. Okay, children. Now, the Right to Information Act aims at making the working of the government transparent. This right is for what reason? This right is because it aims at making the working of government transparent. Okay, children. So that corruption can be rooted out. Understood? So that no corruption is there. It would check the abuse of power. Abuse of power, it will keep a check on. How? So that the public authorities should not misuse the power. So this is all is about the Right to Information Act, which was enacted in 2005, and it would check the abuse of power by the government. Okay, children. Now, further, the topic is popular struggle, which is very important. So, in this topic, we will learn about some organizations who fought for the enactment of this right. Okay, children. Here is the topic, popular struggle. Under this topic, we are going to learn about some organizations who fought for the enactment of this right, that is right to information. The right to information was the result of popular movement over a long period of time. The Supreme Court put great emphasis on this right. Many non-government organizations like NGOs stressed the importance of the right to information. Okay, children. So here we are going to learn about a few organizations that had to struggle for this right. And these organizations are the following. The first one is the Rajasthan Mazdoor Shakti Sangathan, which was formed in 1990. It worked for bringing about land reforms. It also saw that workers were given at least minimum wages. Minimum wages means Minimum Wages Act is an act we will read in detail in your next chapters. There are so in civics only, and I think There is one chapter on Minimum Wages Act where you will be learning in detail. But here in short, I will explain to you that Minimum Wages Act means to ensure that the workers are paid their salary, paid their money or wages on time. Okay. And it is revised upwards annually. You understood? Minimum wages means it ensures the workers are paid their salary and it is revised upwards annually. Like every next year, little increase should be there in their payment or salary. Okay, children. So this is what is minimum wages. So here, it also saw, the Rajasthan Mazdoor Shakti Sangathan also saw that workers are given at least minimum wages. When workers engaged in public works were not paid the minimum wages, this organization took up their cause. It wanted to examine the payrolls of workers. So what happened? The government agencies denied this information on the ground that it went against the Official Secret Act. Thus, after a lot of pressure, the Rajasthan government had to accept, they had to agree. It was found that lot of money was used by corrupt officers for the purpose for which it was not intended. So the public authorities were misusing the money. They were not using the money in the proper welfare work. So the Rajasthan government therefore passed the Rajasthan Right to Information Act in the year 2000. Okay, children. And further, we go to the next organization here. The second is National Campaign for Right to Information was started in 1996. Social activists and broad-minded citizens demanded right to information to curb corruption. To curb corruption means to stop corruption among persons in positions of authority and power. Next is public hearings. Public hearing means Jan Sunwai. Public hearings, Jan Sunwais also became powerful means of people to express their grievances, means to express their problems. Parivartan. Parivartan is a Delhi-based NGO. Also worked very hard. Delhi-based NGO means which is non-government organization. Delhi-based name Parivartan also worked hard to secure information from public authorities. Finally, the people's struggle gained strength, and in the year 2005, the Right to Information Act was enacted. For this, the Official Secrets Act had to be changed. Okay, children. So this was all about Right to Information Act. That Right to Information Act was enacted in the year 2005. And so many organizations fought for the enactment of this right to information. Now we go to the next topic, that is advertising. Okay, children. Advertising, here we are going to learn in detail. What is advertising? Advertising means presentation and promotion of goods, services, or ideas. Advertising is an important method of mass communication. When a sponsor pays for the presentation and promotion of goods, services or ideas, it is called advertising. Okay, children. Various means of communication are used for advertising. These are newspapers, magazines, and periodicals. They carry so many advertisements. Advertising agencies also advertise through pamphlets, leaflets, posters, and hoardings on behalf of their clients. Electronic media like television and internet are also used for advertising products and services. Now, you also might be watching so many advertisements on TV every day, so many advertisements you might be going through in newspapers and magazines also. So here, advertising can be classified into two broad categories. Now here is the classification of advertising. It can be classified into two categories. First is commercial advertising and second is social advertising. Commercial advertising means advertising to gain profit. And social advertising means for social cause. Okay, children. So here we go to this topic, commercial advertising. And what is commercial advertising? As I told you, commercial advertising means to gain profit. No business can survive without advertising. All business people are there, businessmen are there, so much of production is there in the market, consumers are there, producers are there, we go and buy things. So what we do, we buy things from the businessmen. So no business can survive without advertising. The objective, the main objective of advertising is to sell something, a product or a service. The sale is possible only if the consumers know about the availability and features of the product. Okay, children. Advertisement attracts attention. It arouses desire among consumers to buy a particular product. Here in this picture, you can see here, one ad is there here, and commercial advertising is shown here for this particular product. So here, as we go further, we learn that as a result of mass production and technological revolution, similar products with different brand names are available in the market. Then further what happens? There is stiff competition between them. The manufacturers publicize their products through catchy advertisements. Catchy advertisement means very attractive ones. The moment you will see, the moment you will watch the ad on TV, you will feel like to go and buy that particular product. So they try to depict their product as the best. Now, message regarding a product. What it is? Message is developed. They give a message also. Message is developed by using an appeal. Using an appeal means a serious or urgent or heartfelt request. This is the meaning of the word appeal. A serious, urgent or heartfelt request they give means the moment you watch the advertisement, immediately you would like to go and buy that particular product. Okay, children. So a new product is given a brand name which has something to do with our emotions, tradition, or heritage. Parental love is widely used by advertisers of baby foods, toys, etc. Sometimes the emotional appeal is so much linked to the product that it creates frustration among those who cannot afford it. So many catchy and advertisements are there, but products are very expensive. And some people cannot afford, they don't have that much of money, so they feel frustrated. Next topic is increased purchasing power. Due to industrial growth and foreign investment, there has been a rise in income of families. We find a tendency to buy more and more goods. What do? We find a tendency of to buy more and more goods. And today, electronic goods and cars are easily available through bank loans. This has made it possible for middle class families to have these luxuries which were otherwise beyond their purchasing power. So advertisers, what do? They target different age groups with attractive slogans for their different products. So this is how they prepare the advertisement. Okay, children. Now we have the next topic, that is how advertising benefits the producers. The question arises, how advertising benefits the producers. So benefits to producers and businessmen. Benefits to producers and businessmen, here are the points are given, that how does producers are benefited by the advertisement. So here either producers and businessmen. Okay, children. So here are the following points by which the advertisements help the producers or businessmen. First point is it creates demand for existing as well as new products and help to increase sales. Second method is when goods are made on a large scale, it results in lower cost of production. That means the production cost is very low, is very less. When any product is made or produced in bulk, the production cost becomes less. It increases profits by creating regular and greater demand for the goods they produce. So these were the points. How does the advertisement benefit to producers and businessmen? Now, question arises that how advertising benefits the consumers. How does it help the consumers? Advertising helps the consumers in the following ways. The first point is that it provides knowledge to consumers about new products and their various uses. Second benefit is for consumers that it helps them to decide which product they should buy. In this way, it reduces the time and effort involved in doing shopping. Second benefit for consumer is the producers are forced to maintain quality to retain their customers. The buyers get quality goods due to competition among producers. So these are the three benefits to consumers. Now we have completed the commercial advertising. Okay, children. How is it done? It is done like they give a message regarding a product, then they increase purchasing power. Then how does the commercial advertising benefit the producer and businessman? And what are the benefits to the consumers? Now we have the second category of advertising, that is social advertising. Social advertising is for social cause. Here you can see this ad, social advertising. Let's join our hands to prevent the earth from the heat of global warming. So here is the social ad for global warming, how to prevent. So when advertisers take up social responsibility and advertise for a social cause, it is called social advertising. It aims at creating awareness among people about a good cause. Some of the popular themes for social advertising are pulse polio, power conservation, protection of environment, awareness about AIDS, family planning, and discrimination against girl child. Advertisement like do not mix driving and drinking, each one, teach one are some examples of social advertising. This kind of advertisement also promotes communal harmony, national unity, and consumer protection. People may also be encouraged to donate blood. They also provide food or clothing for those who suffer because of natural disasters, such as an earthquake. Okay, children. So now the question arises that what are the basic rules and code of conduct for advertising? So here we are going to learn that there are some basic rules and code of conducts to prepare the advertisement. These are the following. The first one is advertisements should be conformity with the law of the land. They have to be prepared. They have to make advertisement according to the law of the land. They should not incite people to crime or violence. Means the advertisement should not excite or to rouse people to crime or violence. Second is advertisements must be truthful. They should show the advertisement, whatever qualities are there, they should give the correct information about the advertisement. They should give about the correct information about the quality, the price of the product, the weight, the potency, etc. Potency means the power of the product to influence or make an impression. An advertisement should not conceal information that vitally affects human life. Means they should not hide any information. They should not keep any secret information. They should give correct information. It should not make exaggerated or false claims. Okay, children. Third point is the code of conduct. The advertisement should not attack others' products. That means the advertisement should not criticize the other products or the other producers, those who have given some other advertisement, some other product, they should not criticize. Okay. Next is an advertisement should not be obscene and immoral. That means the advertisement should not be dirty. It should not be dirty. It must have moral values, because these advertisements are all public. Everybody is watching for commercial cause or for social cause. We have to make advertisement or based on moral values. They should not be dirty. Next basic rule is advertisement should not hurt the cultural and religious sentiments of the people. And the last one is advertisements should not show children playing with matchboxes or using sharp knives or guns. So children, you know very well these things are dangerous and children should not play with fire, should not play with the knives and all, otherwise they can be hurt. So we have completed the basic rules and code of conduct for advertising, and we have the next topic, the negative effects of advertising. What are the negative effects of advertising? So the first point is brand monopoly. Advertising creates brand preferences. We judge people by the brands and status. Branded cosmetics are more expensive and considered superior to ordinary cosmetics. So advertising creates brand monopoly and restricts free competition. Okay, children. Second negative effect is consumerism or wasteful consumption. Advertising pursues people to buy products which they do not need. It multiplies the needs of people, means it increases the needs of people. As we watch the advertisement, we keep on having the desire that, okay, I will buy this also, that also. So sometimes we waste money. So advertising pursues people to buy products which they do not need. So sometimes the products which we don't need, then also you have so many toys, we have so many toys. But apart from that, when you see an ad of another toy, you tend to go and buy. Some new video game has come, so you think that I must have that also. So for all these things, sometimes we waste money. It multiplies the needs of people, and people are encouraged to buy even those products which are harmful to their health. For example, cold drinks have harmful effects on children's health. Next negative effect is large firms kill new and small concerns. So what happens here? Large firms, big firms spend huge money, large amount of money on advertising, and the small producers making sweets, papads, pickles, etc., they find it very difficult to sell their products. Okay, children. Now, the fourth negative effect of advertising is influence on social values. Influence on social values, that is, advertising portrays the lifestyle of rich people. Here you see so many ads are there of branded products. So what happens here? They advertise and portrays the lifestyle of rich people rather than the poor. They focus on the needs and luxuries of the aristocracy or people having a high social rank rather than the masses or common people. So when we see advertisements, we should first think. So this is the conclusion we have after reading about the topic advertisement in detail, that when we see any advertisement, we should first think and discuss in our family with our family members, and then buy only those things which we need. Control over advertisement is necessary. Why? To prevent exploitation of consumers. Okay, children. So this is how we have completed the chapter, and now in brief, I will explain to you all that what have we learned in this chapter. So in this chapter, that is media and democracy, we have learned in detail about what is media. Media is a term used to denote the various means of mass communication. Democracy is a government based on public opinion, and media can be classified into two broad categories: print media and electronic media. Okay, children. Print media are newspapers, magazines, books, periodicals, and journals, whereas electronic media are radio, television, internet, and mobile phones. Now, it is very necessary regarding the media, print media, newspapers are very necessary. It is necessary that newspapers, televisions, etc. should give news, without distorting them. They should also be free from government control. This is what we have learned in this chapter. And also books, magazines, documentaries, films and political parties form and mold public opinion. So we have also learned how newspapers, they form public opinion, and how books also are playing a great role in molding public opinion. An alert and intelligent public opinion implies that people will not tolerate such governmental policies which go against public welfare. Okay, children. Then we have also learned today the Right to Information Act, which was enacted in the year 2005 under the pressure of popular movements. It allows people to have any information from government or a public authority. It checks the abuse of power by government officials. When a sponsor, now we have also learned about the advertisement, no? So here, when a sponsor pays for the presentation and promotion of goods, services, or ideas, it is called advertising. And it is beneficial both to the producers and also consumers. And there are two types of advertising. First is commercial advertising, which is to gain profit, and second is social advertising, that is for social cause. While advertising, some basic rules to be followed are: advertisement should conform to the law of the land. It should give correct information about quality, price, etc. of the product. That means advertisement should be truthful. So children, this is all for today. We have completed the civics chapter 4, media and democracy. So you all please revise the chapter. Thank you for watching. See you in the next class. Till then, take care and stay safe.